What's up, everybody? It's your boy, K. Smith. Make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe. Back with another fire stream today. And the truth is often on times uncomfortable, but luckily that's what you have me here for. Say it again. The truth is often at times can be uncomfortable. Luckily, that's what you have me for, aka your boy, K. Smith, aka Akis, aka the coolest guy in sports, aka the truth teller, aka the wizard. And I'm here to tell you that a lot of people have been talking about viewership or lack thereof when it comes to the WNBA. I'm sorry, viewership and lack thereof when it comes to the NBA. And we've seen an increase of viewership this past season and just over the past few seasons with the WNBA. And it got me to thinking about some of the biggest reasons why the NBA is struggling with viewership, and also a big reason why the WNBA has had its increase in viewership, as well as why the NBA is struggling compared to the WNBA and some of the things that the NBA are lacking, i.e., they're lacking a Caitlin Clark type of player. But we won't get into that. But basically, when you look at the NBA landscape, I will say when we have these conversations and these reports come out and things of that nature, we have to put into account where a lot of people are watching and viewing games illegally. So they're basically watching games on, I'm not going to say the sites because I watch these sites because I don't have League Pass, but they're watching these games where online and they're seeing and viewing these games where it's not necessarily being recorded for local broadcasts. And even if you're talking about the streaming devices, there's so many millions of streaming devices that it's hard for those numbers to account everything, especially for local broadcasts. So like TNT or ESPN, things of that nature. It's just like, well, we got Amazon, we got CBS, we got all these different viewing platforms. Even Netflix is about to start in a couple years of really having games, NBA games on their platforms potentially. I heard they're working on a deal in the grapevine. We know HBO Max is doing games as well. So it's like you have a variety of platforms that are streaming multiple games, so it's not accounting for everything. So when we hear these takes, these conversations about NBA viewership kind of being down, it's true, but it also isn't true because it's still, people still love the NBA, people still love the game of basketball, but they're just not being accounted for the way that most people are accustomed to seeing, or these networks and Nelson is accustomed to generating their data and generating their reports. But a few reasons why NBA viewership, let's just talk about it, is down low. It's because of player movement and lack of team loyalty. This is the era where players aren't staying very long on their teams. Players are controlling their own destiny. Players are forcing their way out of to go into the different markets they want to go to. Players are signing big contracts, then asking for trades. So there's no team loyalty. There's a lot of player movement going on, and we're seeing a dip in viewership because of that, because fans can't build these lasting connections with some of these teams because every 2-3 years their team is basically brand new due to the player era movement. So that's part of the reason why viewership is down, I believe. Also, once again, we talked about it, streaming and accessibility. We talked about being a plethora of streaming platforms, and everybody's moving away from traditional cable, which means the primary broadcaster for the NBA games, which is another reason why that TNT and Turner deal, why the NBA didn't want to go about with that deal with Turner, because they're looking at the future and looking at what's happening right now. Everything is consistently all streaming, and not all streaming platforms carry live games, as we know, which also makes it harder for audience to access the games, conventionally the way they used to in the past. So that's another reason why I feel like NBA viewership is constantly down. And then also load management, pace of play. Those two things go hand in hand because pace of play, it's like the game is very fast. A lot of extra possessions, more possessions in a game of basketball than there's ever been, due to everybody playing the same type of play style. Everybody is playing a 7 seconds or less play style, layups and 3-point shots, more possessions, more threes going up, more lateral movement up and down the basketball court, which causes more injuries because of the speed of the game is played and the style that everybody is basically, mimicking to do on the 82 game nightly basis until the playoffs comes, when the game traditionally always tends to slow down. And then you have more injuries. So load management, stars aren't playing. Players are missing a lot of game. More injuries are happening. All these things contribute to the factor of why I believe viewership is down as well. And then we talk about the entertainment aspect of the game of basketball. As great as Stephen Curry is, and he gets a lot of credit for how he's involved the game of basketball, all the things that he's done in the game of basketball and things of that nature, and which is true, but everybody playing the same type of play style and shooting threes, it's not as fun to watch, especially if they're not doing it in a manner of a Stephen Curry, a matter of a Damian Lillard, a matter of a Trey Young, a matter of like a Caitlin Clark. Nobody wants to see a mirage of threes on a nightly basis from your 6th to 7th, 8th guy off the bench. And the play style is very same. The NBA was fun where teams had different play styles. We were getting dunks. Highlights were more than just 3-point shots and things of that nature. And also that they also contributes to the younger audience where everything is, they have a shorter attention span. So TikTok is booming. Short content is booming. Most casual fans aren't going to watch a 2-hour and 30-minute basketball game because they don't have the attention span to do that. And it's a lot of games going on as well. And there's a lot of different streaming platforms. And it just seems like sometimes it's too much to lock in on for a lot of casual viewers. You still got your diehards, you still got your people that have a fan base or a favorite player. So they're gonna watch all those games. Like I watch at least 3 games a night, but most of the times it's watching the national broadcasting game and one of my favorite players' games like that. So but that's just me. Most people are just watching their favorite game, if that, or what's on national TV, and then catching everything else on the highlights on social media and things of that nature. Because the younger ones and the younger fans and things of that nature, they consume sports content in a different way that doesn't really necessarily include watching the entire game. So, and this is another one that was gonna. I'll say this last one. Well, I'll say this last one while when we get into the Caitlin Clark stuff, as we're about to do right now. So the title of this is the NBA viewership is down because the NBA lacks a Caitlin Clark. They're lacking a polarizing figure, a young polarizing figure in the game of basketball. And that's not for me to say that the guys that they have, the young players like a Jason Tatum, and Anthony Edwards, a Ja Morant, they aren't polarizing, they aren't great, because those are the best young American players in the game. But they don't have that same type of impact as the generational talent American players that we have seen in the past, for us like a Kobe Bryant, a Michael Jordan, a LeBron James. So when we look at things, the NBA, Caitlin Clark she broke like multiple records this year, but she set 6 WNBA records, streaming records over the course of the season. It was with ESPN, CBS, ABC, ESPN2, I believe, Ion, and NBA TV. And then also she set probably some more records on ESPN Prime Video and CBS Sports, but those rating numbers aren't available for those games. So once again, Caitlin Clark this season has set WNBA records in streaming for 6 broadcasting networks: ESPN, ESPN2, ABC, CBS, Ion, and NBA TV. She is the most polarizing figure in the game of basketball, regardless of gender. Her play style, her charisma, her personality, it's very effective, and it's very edgy, it's very electrifying, and she draws in casuals and dedicated viewers alike. So, which creates a level of excitement that is hard to kind of come up with and replicate. So that's what we have with Caitlin Clark. She is the most important basketball player in the world, and she plays on the WNBA side. She's that polarizing. So that's when we talk about what the NBA is missing, they're missing that type of phenom in the NBA game. So I'm gonna say it again. Caitlin Clark, she is a phenom. When you talk about the combination of her skill, confidence, showmanship, and also her electric energy and the edginess and the style of play that she plays with, and her being the first of her kind in the WNBA, she draws in casual fans and dedicated viewers alike, which creates a level of excitement that is hard to replicate. So, in contrast to the NBA, who are the best players in the world are now, which is great, international, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, SGA, and they contribute to the game globally, but they don't resonate as strongly to the American fan base in terms of marketability, in terms of personality, like a Caitlin Clark. So the NBA is missing these homegrown American superstars. So, and that's part of the appeal where the NBA is lacking for its viewership, because LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant, who are still in the league, who are still the faces of the league, that's a problem. But there's a growing need for the next American-born superstar of that same type of magnesium. And that's what Caitlin Clark comes into play, because she's the most important American basketball player, American-born basketball player in general, regardless of gender, in the world. And the NBA don't have that, but the WNBA does. So that's why the league's viewership can benefit from the emergence of somebody similar to a Caitlin Clark in the NBA game, which will have that culture impact and excitement, just like the players of Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. The NBA don't have that. Caitlin Clark is that for the game of basketball right now for the WNBA and the NBA. And just we talk about in basketball in general, she is that star. She is that one person where when we think about the game of basketball, we're thinking about Caitlin Clark. The NBA is lacking in that area. And everybody talks about the push and growing the game globally, which is great. It's beautiful. This is what we want to see. We want the game to reach the entire world. NBA is a global game. It's always been a global game for us, like the impact for reaching a larger audience, but also that global ability happened when it was an American-born megastar like a Michael Jordan. Then it was Kobe Bryant. Then it was LeBron James. We talking these American-born superstars who impacts transcending from the domestically to globally, and which also helped the game grow in that nature. But this league, love Jason Tatum, love Anthony Edwards, love Ja Morant, and the NBA is kind of like Ja Morant was kind of supposed, and Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson was kind of supposed to be that next more American-born phenom for the NBA. He was being compared to the likes of LeBron James. He was supposed to be kind of like the next chosen one for this generation, but due to injuries, that hasn't happened. Ja Morant, Nike deal, signature shoe, was supposed to be that guy, but as great as Ja Morant is, he had some of those issues with the gun situation. Then we look at Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is phenomenal, skilled, the best young player, has been the best young player in the game for a while, but he doesn't really have the personality of some of those other guys that I mentioned, like a LeBron James, or Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, or like an Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, who could be that guy for the NBA. It seems like the NBA is kind of hesitant on pushing Anthony Edwards to be the next American-born face or the potential face of the league. And once again, love Nikola Jokic, love Luka Doncic, love SGA, love Joel Embiid, love Giannis Antetokounmpo. If we're talking about the best players in the world, top 5 best players in the world, 3 of those guys are from Europe. For us, like internationally, their personality, their persona is not as great as they are. They don't move the needle like for being the best players in the world. They don't move the needle like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant to carry the game where it needs to be and to draw in not just avid diehard fans, but also casual fans alike. that is the issue. So where does the NBA go with this? Because once again, Caitlin Clark right now is she's the biggest basketball player outside of LeBron James and Stephen Curry, probably in the world when we talk about from American megastar standpoint. And even this year, I think she was up under LeBron, or maybe she was ahead of LeBron for its like most popular or generated the most. Was it like merchandise? It was something that she was even neck and neck with LeBron or up under LeBron. But it just goes to show you that Caitlin Clark's star power is very important for the WNBA, but it may be even important for the NBA as well, because as when we talk about the game of basketball, just basketball in general, the NBA and the WNBA, they are in sync always because of, it's their leagues. The NBA is the WNBA's league and the WNBA is the NBA's league and things of that nature. But they may be in sync because the NBA may have to start pushing opportunities similar to like that 3-point contest with Sabrina Ionescu and Stephen Curry. Like she may have to start getting involved with participating in some of these big time events for the NBA and maybe crossover games, or who knows, whatever the NBA can come up with, because the NBA has been creative under Adam Silver. He does a great job initiating new ideas for the in-season play-in tournament and the play-in tournament and things of that nature, and the NBA Cup and things. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen. But all I know is that Caitlin Clark right now is the most important basketball player, regardless of gender. I know one thing is sure, I'm getting a pair of CC 22 shoes. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm interested to see when Nike pushes her signature shoe out. They've been kind of slow in the way they've been doing things, which is a little bit unfortunate. Even it's so crazy because when we talk about Caitlin Clark and we talk about like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, those type of players, American megastars, all those players are as great as they are. They also had a lot of hate as well. And people have to factor that in for us being the face of the league and being a mega star and being a player that can carry the league forward when we talk about being the one for the WNBA or being the one for the NBA. Love and passion and avid fans and casual fans, drawing both of those into the game of basketball is very important, because you also need haters as well. Haters that are going to be casuals, that view the game just to hate on Caitlin Clark, that view the game just to hate on LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or Allen Iverson and things of that nature. Haters contribute to that viewership as well. And once again, when you are a face of the league and you're carrying the game forward, you got to have love, but you also got to have hate. And you also, as a player, you can't really care about neither one, because you can't get too high and get too low, because at the end of the day, you just know you that girl, you that guy. But that's when it comes to the NBA viewership. I really believe that NBA viewership is down because they don't have a next transcending star that's going to go in and carry the game forward in the like of Caitlin Clark. And we may be in a situation where the WNBA has entered its like Renaissance era for its like the talent that's coming in the league, for the talent that's already in the league, for its the viewership. They have their chosen one for its Caitlin Clark, and then Cameron Brink, Kia Jackson, Angel Reese, a mega draft class, and the game is about to get even better when Paige comes as well. Then we got Fly J coming. Then we got Juju as well coming eventually. So the game is getting better, and the game is getting more skilled at the WNBA level, and you have the most popular American-born basketball player in the world on the women's side as well. The NBA is lacking in that category because once LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant go, I don't see a face of the league, because as great as the international guys are, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, SGA, they don't have the same type of pull as the American born star players that the world is accustomed seeing for us that marketability and personality factor. And that's needed for the NBA and also needed for viewership, regardless of if people want to pretend or not, but it's definitely needed. Last time I brought some shoes was Carmelo Anthony. I ain't messing with too many of these folks, maybe Allen Iverson. No, I hear that, man. The Carmelos is definitely a classic shoe. I used to have those. I used to rock those when I played high school basketball and in middle school as well. Definitely a class. I never rocked the Allen Iversons on the court. I used to rock them like the hoop outside and things of that nature. But Caitlin Clark's impact, yeah, her shoes gonna definitely sell out. I'm just kind of confusing when you look at the Nike and how Nike's projection is not for it's like their merchandise sales and things of that nature. They took a dip this year, and it's just like they have a player that can literally sell out within minutes if you drop some merchandise. She led in merchandise sales for the WNBA this past year, which is Caitlin Clark. So that's very interesting why they're not pushing Caitlin Clark's signature shoe or just merchandise in general for shirts, hoodies, things of that nature more. You would think, her coming off this iconic year or just even having this iconic rookie season that they would have hit the ground running on Caitlin Clark's shoes and things of that nature. So it goes to show you that once again about the things can be very dicey, things can be very tricky because even you look at the WNBA and they're constantly making mistakes for us. Caitlin Clark tweeting about Caitlin Clark or when they try to promote Caitlin Clark, it seems like the WNBA doesn't push Caitlin Clark as much as they should for the social media landscape. I'm sorry, things of that nature. So I don't know. It's very interesting, but you can't stop a generational phenom. You can't stop a transcendent player. You can't stop a player that is one-on-one. You can't stop somebody that is a unmovable object. She's here to stay. That's why she is the most important figure in the game of basketball, regardless of gender. That's why the WNBA's viewership is going to continue to reach all new levels. That's why, for as Caitlin Clark, she broke 6 network ratings for its viewership: ESPN, ABC, Ion, NBA TV, CBS, like ESPN2. She's different. She's different, and she's everything that the NBA is lacking for as a viewership standpoint, for as a American homegrown star, for as having a face of the league. And it's going to get scary because I know Cooper Flag is coming out of Duke, and I know he's supposed to kind of be the next potential face of the league, and he's very popular right now, and people have been talking about his game. But at the same time, I think he's going to be a great basketball player. But the hype and him being a true phenom and paving the way for us being the next face of the league, I don't see that for us the game aspect. Hype, marketing, sure. But as we know, the hype and marketing don't matter if your game is not like that. The hype and marketing wouldn't matter with Caitlin Clark if her game wasn't what it was this past season, being a rookie of the year, top 4 MVPs finish, first team all WNBA as a rookie. So for Cooper Flag, the hype will be there, but I don't even think for as a game standpoint, I like Cooper Flag. I've been watching him a little bit at Duke. The season just started, but I'm very interested to see how his game translates. I don't think it's going to translate very like people think for it's like the superstardom, like a Kevin Durant, like a Allen Iverson, like a Kobe Bryant, like a LeBron James, like a Michael Jordan that came and hit the ground right and running, and they also had that marking ability and that personality and that glare, that freshness, that wow. You got casual fans locking in because they want to see what the hype is about. You got avid fans loving everything about that's going with basketball because of them. So I don't see that with Cooper Flag for as a game standpoint because I don't even think he's going to be the best basketball player in this upcoming draft for us like him because Bailey, that boy at Rutgers, is real. And maybe that's just the territory that we're in for the American side of basketball. Maybe we're in a situation where the game globally is starting to catch up, but also where it's a lot of parity in the league where it potentially may not be any new faces of the league. It may not be any new megastars. There's so much parity going on in the league. Maybe that could be another reason why the viewership is down and why things are a little dicey for the NBA right now. But I'll say this to say that let's not get too caught up on viewership because the 2023, I'm sorry, was it 2024? Was it 2023 playoffs? It was just that was over a year ago. I think that was like one of the biggest playoff seasons ever for the NBA. So it's very dicey. But one thing is for certain that they are missing a generational American grown superstar in comparison to the WNBA. But make sure y'all go like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Mike K. Smith. I'm gone, man. Peace.